Failure has been my greatest teacher. I failed my university entrance exams 3 times before I finally got in. I was rejected from dozens of jobs, some of which I was overqualified for. Each rejection felt like a punch to the gut, but it also pushed me closer to understanding my own resilience. When we started Alibaba, we were like a blind man riding a blind tiger, navigating uncharted territory with no map and no guarantee of success. Every mistake we made, whether it was a failed product launch or a misstep in strategy, taught us something new. One of our biggest early failures was trying to compete head-on with eBay in China's consumer market. We poured resources into our platform, Taobao, but eBay had the brand, the funding, and the experience. We were the underdogs, and many thought we'd fail. But instead of giving up, we listened to our customers. We learned that Chinese consumers wanted a platform that felt local, that understood their needs. So we made Taobao free for sellers, added features like live chat, and tailored it to the Chinese market. Slowly but surely, we gained ground. By 2006, eBay withdrew from China, and Taobao became the market leader. That victory wasn't about being smarter or richer. It was about learning from failure and adapting. I often tell young people, don't fear failure. If you're too afraid to fail, you'll never take risks. And if you never take risks, you'll never grow. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. The courage to keep going, to learn from your mistakes, and to adapt is what sets you apart. The power of team and lifelong learning. No one achieves greatness alone. Alibaba's success is the work of thousands of dedicated people, all united by a shared vision. From the very beginning, we prioritized our team. We gave them space to grow, to experiment, to fail, and to learn. A valued team is a motivated team, and that's what drives innovation. I've always believed that great leaders are great listeners. By understanding the challenges, ideas, and dreams of those around you, you build a stronger, more resilient organization. One of my proudest moments was seeing my early team, those 17 co-founders, grow into leaders. Many of them had no business experience when we started. They were teachers, students, dreamers. But they believed in our mission, and we gave them the freedom to take risks. Some of our best ideas, like the Singles Day Shopping Festival, came from young team members who weren't afraid to think big. Today, Singles Day is the world's largest online shopping event, generating billions in sales. That kind of innovation only happens when you trust your team and give them room to shine. Continuous learning is another cornerstone of our success. I'm not the smartest person in the room, and I've never pretended to be. But I'm curious, always asking questions, always seeking to understand. I learn from my team, from our competitors, from our failures, and from the world around me. Early in Alibaba's journey, I spent hours studying companies like Amazon and eBay. Not to copy them, but to understand what worked and what didn't. I read books, attended conferences, and talked to anyone who could teach me something new. If you stop learning, you stop growing. That's why we've built a culture at Alibaba that celebrates curiosity, adaptability, and a hunger for knowledge, believing in the impossible. When we launched Alibaba, the odds were stacked against us. E-commerce in China was a pipe dream. The internet was slow, trust was low, and global giants dominated the industry. People laughed at the idea of a small startup from Hangzhou taking on the world. But I've always believed in the impossible. If you have a clear vision, work with passion, and refuse to give up, you can turn dreams into reality. I remember the early days when we worked out of my cramped apartment. We had no money, no connections, and no experience. But we had a dream to create something that could change the world. I often say, if not now, when? If not me, who? Opportunities don't wait for the perfect moment. You have to act, even when the conditions aren't ideal. That's what we did at Alibaba. It's why we've grown from a small idea in my living room to a global platform that empowers millions. One of the most impossible moments came in 2003 when we decided to launch Taobao. eBay was the undisputed king of e-commerce, and many thought we were crazy to challenge them. But we believed in our vision. We believed that China needed a platform built for its people, not a copy of a Western model. That belief, coupled with relentless hard work, turned the impossible into reality. Today, Alibaba serves millions of businesses and consumers, not just in China, but around the world. A vision for the future. My dream for Alibaba is to build something that lasts not just for my lifetime, but for generations. We were founded in 1999, and our goal is to thrive for 102 years, spanning 3 centuries. To do that, we must stay true to our mission, our values, and our people. The future is uncertain, but as long as we keep empowering other small businesses, young people, women, there will always be opportunities to create value. I often think about the young entrepreneurs we serve. It's the ones who remind me of myself all those years ago. They're full of dreams, but they face the same doubts and obstacles I did. That's why I'm so passionate about giving them the tools to succeed. Through platforms like Taobao and Tmall, we've helped millions of small businesses grow, from mom-and-pop shops to global exporters. Through initiatives like the Alibaba Cloud, we're empowering startups with technology they couldn't otherwise afford. And through our philanthropy, we're investing in education and rural development. Because I believe that everyone deserves a chance to dream big. Dreams, I've learned, are what keep us moving forward. When I was poor, my dreams made me feel rich. They gave me purpose, hope, and the drive to keep going, even when the world said I couldn't. No matter where you are in life, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, or someone searching for your path, never stop dreaming. And when you dream, act. The world belongs to those who dare to chase the impossible. Lessons for life and leadership. So, what's the secret to success? It's not luck, and it's not about being the smartest or most talented. It's about persistence, picking yourself up after every fall. It's about learning from failure, not running from it. It's about staying true to your purpose, even when the path is unclear. And it's about building a team that shares your vision and empowering them to shine. As a former teacher, I believe education is more than books and exams. It's about teaching people to think critically, to solve problems, to adapt to a world that's always changing. It's about fostering creativity, empathy, and resilience, qualities that make great leaders and innovators. I think back to my teaching days when I'd spend hours helping students find their confidence, encouraging them to ask questions and challenge assumptions. Those lessons shaped me as much as they shaped my students. Above all, success is about creating something bigger than yourself. At Alibaba, we're not just building a company, we're building a legacy. We're empowering millions of people to chase their dreams, to build better lives, to create a better world. That's what drives me every day, and that's what I hope inspires you. So, what's your dream? What's holding you back? The journey won't be easy. Mine certainly wasn't. You'll face rejections, failures, and moments when you doubt yourself. But if you persist, if you learn from your mistakes, if you believe in the impossible, there's no limit to what you can achieve. The time to act is now. If not you, then who? My journey of resilience and vision. Life doesn't hand you a map. My journey has been a winding, unpredictable path full of rejections, failures, and detours that somehow led me to where I am today. It's a story of grit, hope, and an unshakable belief in the impossible. Let me take you back to the beginning, to a young man in China, searching for his place in a world that often felt like it had no room for him. Facing rejection, finding strength. Growing up in Hangzhou, I was no stranger to rejection. As a young man, I applied to dozens of jobs, each application carrying a piece of my hope. But the responses were always the same. You're not good enough. I'll never forget the sting of being turned down for a job at a hotel because, as they bluntly put it, I wasn't good-looking enough. Those words cut deep, wounding my pride and shaking my confidence. But instead of breaking me, they lit a fire within a determination to prove them wrong. Then there were the university rejections. I set my sights high, applying to Harvard not once, but 10 times. 10 rejections. Each letter felt like a door slamming shut, but I refused to let them define me. Those early failures taught me a lesson that stayed with me. Failure isn't the end, it's the start of learning. It's a chance to grow, to rethink, to try again. I learned to see rejection not as a verdict on my worth, but as a challenge to keep pushing forward. Eventually, I found myself at Hangzhou Teachers College, a modest institution far from the prestigious universities I'd dreamed of. I spent 5 years there, teaching English to students who, like me, were navigating their own dreams and doubts. At first, teaching felt like a detour, a fallback plan, not a calling. I wasn't sure it was where I belonged, but something unexpected happened. I fell in love with it. My students voted me the best teacher at the university, a recognition that warmed my heart and shifted my perspective. Through teaching, I discovered the power of listening, understanding, and guiding others. I learned patience, empathy, and the quiet strength of leadership skills that would become the bedrock of everything I'd later build. Those years in the classroom weren't just about teaching English. They were about teaching myself. I learned to connect with people, to inspire them, to help them see their own potential. Every lesson I taught, every conversation I had, shaped me into someone who could lead, not just follow. What I thought was a detour became the foundation of my purpose. A spark of curiosity and a new horizon. 1994. My life took another unexpected turn. I traveled to Seattle, a city worlds away from Hangzhou, and encountered the internet for the first time. I'd never touched a computer before. Keyboards and screens were foreign to me. But as I sat in front of that glowing monitor, something clicked. I typed beer into a search engine, curious to see what this new technology could do. The results showed plenty about American beers, but nothing about Chinese ones. In that moment, I didn't just see a gap. I saw a bridge, a way to connect China to the world. That spark of curiosity changed everything. I returned to China with a vision: to use the internet to open doors for my country, to give people opportunities they'd never had before. The internet wasn't just a tool. It was a gateway to possibilities I'd never imagined. It was a chance to rewrite the rules, to create something that could transform lives. In 1999, I gathered 17 others, mostly my former students, in my small apartment in Hangzhou. Together, we founded Alibaba. People often assume we were a team of prodigies handpicked from elite schools. The truth is far humbler. We were ordinary people, graduates of modest institutions, not Ivy League universities. What bound us wasn't brilliance or privilege. It was optimism, a shared belief in the future, and a willingness to stumble, fall, and get back up. We weren't afraid to fail because we knew failure was just a stepping stone to something greater. Building Alibaba, empowering the underdog, Alibaba wasn't born out of a desire to build a company. It was born out of a mission to empower the underdog. In China, small and medium-sized businesses were often overlooked. Struggling to compete in a world dominated by big players, they lacked access to global markets, resources, and opportunities. We saw the internet as a way to level the playing field, to give these businesses a chance to shine. Our goal was never just about profit. It was about creating a platform that could change lives. The early days were anything but easy. We faced fierce competition from global giants like eBay, who had resources we could only dream of building. Infrastructure in a developing market was a constant challenge. Low internet, limited technology, and skeptical customers made every step a battle. But we didn't let those obstacles stop us. We kept asking, how can we do this differently? Innovation, I've learned, isn't just about inventing new technology. It's about seeing opportunities where others see roadblocks. It's about staying hungry, never settling, and always pushing to do better. One of our early breakthroughs came from focusing on trust. In the early days of e-commerce, people were wary of buying online. They didn't trust strangers on the internet with their money. So we created Alipay, a payment system that held funds in escrow until buyers received their goods. It was a simple idea, but it built trust and made online shopping accessible to millions. That kind of innovation, born from understanding people's needs, became the heartbeat of Alibaba. The beauty of simplicity and Puchis, one of Alibaba's greatest strengths, is simplicity. We didn't try to dazzle with complex systems or flashy features. Instead, we focused on making e-commerce accessible to everyone, especially small businesses. Simplicity isn't a lack of depth, it's clarity of purpose. By keeping things straightforward, we empowered our team and our customers to focus on what mattered most: creating value. Take our platform's design, for example. We didn't build it for tech experts or big corporations. We built it for the small shop owner in a rural village, the entrepreneur with a dream but no resources. We made it easy for them to set up an online store, reach customers across the globe, and compete with the big players. That focus on accessibility transformed lives. Merchants who once struggled to sell beyond their neighborhood were suddenly reaching customers in Europe, America, and beyond. At Alibaba, our purpose has always been bigger than profit. We believe that when small businesses thrive, communities thrive. When young people succeed, the future brightens. When women are empowered, we all rise. That's why we've made it a priority to support small businesses, young people, and women in leadership. Today, over half our employees are women, and they hold about a third of our leadership roles. Their perspectives, their empathy, their ability to solve problems creatively, these have been vital to our growth. Empowering others isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing. It builds a stronger, more inclusive world, and that benefits everyone. Embracing failure as a guide.